our relationship is I want the best for her. So, I'm dedicated to her happiness, and so that's great for her. And I want her to be the best she could possibly be, and she's done a pretty good job of doing that.
When it comes to the equal and free relationship of Oprah Winfrey and Stedman Graham, we can't help but express our admiration for them. However, no matter how hard the two have tried to build trust with each other, disappointment is inevitable. It is known that Stedman's latest revelation about Oprah's taboo secrets has completely upset her in recent days. Let's listen to his rare sharing. Oprah Winfrey's early years were marked by profound hardship and struggle, reflecting a stark contrast to the glamorous and influential persona she later became, according to Stedman Graham. Her childhood was defined by severe poverty and a series of personal challenges that shaped her into the resilient and compassionate figure known today. Born in rural Mississippi, Oprah's early life was a testament to the extreme economic difficulties faced by her family. Both of her parents, Vernita Lee and Harrison Barnes, were unable to provide consistent support. Oprah's mother, Vernita, struggled with financial instability and personal issues, which made it difficult for her to care for Oprah. Her father, Harrison Barnes, was also not in a position to offer support, leaving Oprah in a precarious situation. As a result, Oprah was sent to live with her grandmother, Hattie Mae Lee, in the small town of Kosciuszko, Mississippi. Hattie Mae's home was modest, and the living conditions were incredibly rudimentary. Oprah has recounted how, during this period, her family's extreme poverty meant they had to make do with very little. The lack of basic amenities was a daily reality for Oprah. She described how she and her grandmother lived without running water or electricity. The absence of these modern conveniences was not just a minor inconvenience, but a significant challenge that defined their daily life. The clothing situation was equally dire. Oprah has shared that she wore clothes made from potato sacks, a reflection of the severe scarcity of resources. These sacks, often used for agricultural products, were repurposed into garments, highlighting the extent of their poverty. The ingenuity required to turn such materials into wearable clothing underscores the creativity and resourcefulness that Oprah and her grandmother had to employ in the face of their hardships. Her grandmother, Hattie Mae Lee, played a crucial role in Oprah's early development. From a very young age, Oprah's grandmother took on the responsibility of her education and spiritual upbringing. By the age of 3, Oprah was already learning to read, a remarkable achievement that was largely due to her grandmother's dedication. This early introduction to literacy was not just about education, it was also a foundational element in Oprah's future success, laying the groundwork for her love of learning and storytelling. In addition to teaching her to read, Hattie Mae introduced Oprah to religion. This spiritual grounding provided Oprah with a sense of stability and moral guidance during her formative years. The combination of early education and religious instruction was instrumental in shaping Oprah's values and resilience. However, Oprah's life took a difficult turn when she was sent to live with her mother, Vernita Lee, in Wisconsin. This transition was fraught with challenges. Oprah's mother's racist roommate made her life particularly difficult due to her darker complexion. Oprah was forced to sleep outside, an experience that underscored the harsh realities of racial prejudice and the lack of acceptance she faced. The situation deteriorated further when Oprah's mother, unable to manage the complexities of raising her daughter amidst these challenging circumstances, eventually asked Oprah to leave the house altogether. This rejection left Oprah with a sense of abandonment and uncertainty, compounding the difficulties she faced in her new environment. Oprah's relationship with her grandmother also had its darker aspects. Despite the love and care her grandmother provided, there were also instances of severe punishment. Oprah was often whipped by her grandmother, a practice that was not uncommon in that era. The physical punishment was accompanied by emotional demands that compounded the trauma. Oprah has recounted how she was told to stop crying while being whipped and was expected to put a smile on your face afterward. This demand for emotional suppression during punishment was deeply damaging. The harsh treatment left lasting emotional scars. Oprah later reflected on how these experiences affected her adult life. She described developing a disease to please, a tendency to prioritize others' needs and approval over her own well-being. This behavior was rooted in her early experiences of being forced to suppress her emotions and conform to others' expectations, even at her own expense. In her teenage years, Oprah's relationship with her mother deteriorated further. The difficulties they faced were compounded by Oprah's own struggles with behavioral issues and the turbulent environment in which she found herself. As a result of these issues, Oprah was sent to a juvenile detention home. This decision reflected the severity of the problems she was grappling with at the time. However, the juvenile detention home was at capacity when Oprah arrived, meaning it couldn't accommodate her immediately. This delay in processing added another layer of difficulty to an already challenging situation. Oprah was left in limbo, awaiting placement in the facility while dealing with the strain of her current circumstances. During this waiting period, Oprah's mother made a decision that would significantly alter the course of Oprah's life. Unwilling to have Oprah stay in the house during the 2-week waiting period, her mother chose to send her to live with her father, Harrison Barnes, in Tennessee. This decision marked a major shift in Oprah's life and would ultimately become a turning point. Moving to Tennessee to live with her father represented a dramatic change in Oprah's environment. This new chapter introduced her to a different set of circumstances and opportunities. Oprah has often reflected on how this moment changed the trajectory of her life. The move to Tennessee was not just a physical relocation, but also a profound shift in her personal and emotional landscape. Living with her father provided Oprah with a new support system and a different environment that offered stability and a chance for transformation. The experience in Tennessee allowed Oprah to distance herself from the immediate problems she had faced in her previous living situation. This separation from her mother and the juvenile detention system was crucial in providing Oprah with the space she needed to reflect on her life and make positive changes. During her time in Tennessee, Oprah had the opportunity to focus on her education and personal growth. The change in environment gave her a renewed sense of purpose and direction. Oprah's time with her father marked a period of significant personal development, laying the groundwork for the future successes that would follow. In addition, according to Stedman, Oprah Winfrey's experience with motherhood took a heartbreaking turn early in her life. She experienced the devastating loss of her first and only child, a premature baby boy she named Canaan. The name Canaan, symbolizing new land or new life, reflected Oprah's hopes and dreams for her child. Tragically, the infant passed away in the hospital a few weeks after his birth, marking a profound and sorrowful chapter in Oprah's life. The pain of losing a child is unimaginable, and for Oprah, this loss was compounded by a sense of betrayal. In 1990, the personal tragedy of her son's death was made public in a deeply invasive and distressing manner. One of Oprah's relatives sold the story of her loss to the National Enquirer for $19,000. The revelation of such a private and painful event to the media not only amplified Oprah's grief, but also led to feelings of profound betrayal. The intrusion into her personal tragedy by a family member for financial gain was an added layer of anguish during an already difficult time. Despite the heartache and public scrutiny she faced, Oprah has expressed no regrets about her decision not to have children later in life. In her reflections, she has indicated that had she chosen to become a mother, her children would have suffered due to the demands and pressures of her career. Oprah's self-awareness about the impact her lifestyle could have had on her potential children is evident in her candid assessment of her life choices. She has stated, "If I had kids, my kids would hate me. They would have ended up on the equivalent of the Oprah show talking about me, because something in my life would have had to suffer, and it would have probably been them." Oprah's acknowledgement of the potential sacrifices involved in balancing a high-profile career with motherhood reveals her deep understanding of her own life and priorities. She has built a career that demands immense dedication and focus, and her choice to forego motherhood reflects her commitment to her professional pursuits and the realization of her personal limits. The decision to remain childless, despite the profound loss she experienced, was shaped by Oprah's understanding of her own life circumstances. Her commitment to her career, her public life, and her philanthropic efforts have been a central aspect of her identity. Oprah's openness about her personal struggles, including the loss of her son and her choices regarding motherhood, reflects her broader approach to life and her willingness to confront and discuss the complexities of her experiences. Moving on to her career, Stedman Graham revealed that Oprah Winfrey's early career in television took a significant turn when she was fired from her first anchor job at WJZ-TV in Baltimore. The experience was a pivotal moment that ultimately redirected her career trajectory and set the stage for her future success. At WJZ, Oprah was employed as a television news anchor, a role that demanded a high level of objectivity and detachment. However, Oprah's natural empathy and emotional engagement with the stories she covered led to a clash with the expectations of the role. Her tendency to laugh and cry while reporting on news stories was seen as a sign of emotional attachment that did not align with the standard practices of hard news reporting. A producer at the station ultimately decided that Oprah was unfit for television news and made the decision to pull her off the air. Being dismissed from this position was a significant blow for Oprah, but it was also a turning point that would lead to new opportunities. Although the firing was a challenging and painful experience, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. Oprah's emotional depth, which had been viewed as a drawback in the context of hard news, was actually a strength that suited a different style of broadcasting. At the same Baltimore TV station that fired Winfrey, she says she faced appallingly inappropriate treatment on a regular basis. The media mogul later recalled her less-than-pleasant memories of anchor Jerry Turner. During her time at WJZ, Winfrey alleged that she was embarrassed by the way she was treated. During her tenure at WJZ-TV in Baltimore, Oprah Winfrey encountered not only the professional challenge of being deemed unfit for television news, but also faced deeply troubling personal treatment that compounded her difficulties at the station. Her time at WJZ was marked by significant emotional and professional strain, aspects of which Oprah has openly discussed in later years. Oprah has recounted that her experiences at WJZ were marred by appallingly inappropriate treatment, particularly highlighting her interactions with anchor Jerry Turner. Turner, a colleague at the station, reportedly contributed to a hostile work environment for Oprah. Winfrey has been candid about the negative impact this treatment had on her, describing how she was often embarrassed by the way she was treated during her time at the station. The inappropriate behavior and comments she endured from Turner were indicative of a broader pattern of disrespect and unprofessionalism that Oprah faced. The nature of this mistreatment went beyond simple professional disagreements and extended into personal humiliation. Oprah's recollections from this period reflect a profound sense of discomfort and marginalization, exacerbating her already challenging situation at WJZ. Oprah's experiences at WJZ were not merely about professional shortcomings, they were deeply intertwined with her personal experiences of being treated in a demeaning and disrespectful manner. This environment of hostility and lack of support played a role in her decision to leave the station, further compounded by the decision of the producer to pull her off the air. The combination of professional rejection and personal mistreatment created a particularly harsh environment for Oprah during her time at WJZ. Following her departure from WJZ, Oprah was presented with a new opportunity to host a daytime television show called People Are Talking. The show was a departure from traditional news reporting and allowed Oprah to utilize her unique qualities, her emotional openness, warmth, and ability to connect with people. People Are Talking focused on engaging and interactive discussions with guests, which provided a platform for Oprah's strengths as a communicator. In 2013, Oprah Winfrey's visit to Zurich, Switzerland, for Tina Turner's wedding led to an encounter that underscored the persistence of racial discrimination, even among the wealthy and privileged. This experience highlighted the subtleties of racism that can manifest in everyday situations, regardless of one's status or influence. During her visit, Oprah walked into a high-end store and spotted a luxurious handbag priced at $40,000. Intrigued by the item, she approached a saleswoman with the request to see the bag. To her dismay, the clerk responded with a refusal, saying, "No, it's too expensive." Winfrey, a prominent media mogul and one of the world's most recognizable figures, was taken aback by the response, which seemed to suggest that the price of the bag was a barrier to her viewing it. Undeterred, Oprah made 2 additional attempts to view the handbag, only to face the same refusal each time. The saleswoman's repeated denial was not only surprising but also deeply troubling, considering Winfrey's global reputation and her significant financial means. This refusal seemed to stem from an underlying prejudice rather than a mere matter of the item's cost or availability. In a candid interview with Entertainment Tonight, Oprah reflected on the experience, acknowledging that while she could have responded by leveraging her fame and wealth, such as using her credit card to make a point, she chose not to escalate the situation. Her decision to refrain from making a scene was a deliberate one, rooted in her understanding of the broader context of racial discrimination. Winfrey commented, "I could have had the whole blow-up thing and thrown down the black card, but why do that?" She added, "But that clearly is, racism still exists. Of course it does." Another notable incident occurred in New York City, highlighting the challenges she has faced despite her high-profile status. During a visit to Madison Avenue after enjoying a Broadway show, Oprah and a friend decided to stop by a store that had caught Oprah's eye with a sweater displayed in the window. The excitement of potentially finding a new item of clothing quickly turned into a disheartening experience when the store's associates refused to open the doors for them. Oprah, determined to address the situation directly, decided to take action. She crossed the street to a payphone, called the store, and inquired if they were open. The response was affirmative, which prompted her to return to the store with the hope of resolving the situation. However, upon her return, Oprah and her friend were still met with closed doors. This refusal to allow them entry, while 2 white women were seen entering the store, made it clear to Oprah that they were facing a racially motivated barrier. Oprah described the realization in her own words, saying, "Suddenly it dawns on both of us. Oh my God, I think we're having a racist moment." The situation escalated when Oprah decided to address the issue with the store management. When she later contacted the store to complain about the treatment she and her friend received, the store's explanation for their actions was shocking and disappointing. The store manager revealed that the reason for the refusal to open the doors was that 2 black people had robbed the store a week earlier. This justification underscored a troubling stereotype and a discriminatory practice, highlighting the prejudiced assumptions made by the store's staff. In response to the store's offer of compensation, a gesture meant to atone for their actions by giving Oprah the sweater for free, Oprah chose to reject the offer. Her response was straightforward: "Keep the sweater." This reaction was more than a rejection of a mere piece of clothing. It was a firm stand against the discrimination she had faced. Oprah's decision to forego the sweater symbolized her refusal to accept or condone the racist treatment she had experienced. According to Stedman Graham, Oprah Winfrey's journey through addiction and recovery is a poignant chapter in her life story, illustrating her vulnerability and resilience in the face of personal struggles. Her experiences with drug use and the emotional turmoil that accompanied them are deeply intertwined with her relationships and her path to self-discovery. During the 1995 episode of The Oprah Winfrey Show focusing on drug recovery, Oprah made a significant revelation about her past. She openly shared with her audience that, in her 20s, she had used cocaine. This admission was not just a disclosure of her past substance use, but a reflection of a broader struggle involving a turbulent relationship. Oprah recounted how her drug use was closely tied to her involvement with a boyfriend at the time. As she revealed, her dependency on drugs was significantly influenced by her relationship with this individual. She noted that when the relationship ended, so did her drug use, highlighting how intertwined her substance use was with her emotional state and the dynamics of her romantic involvement. During this emotional segment, Oprah's candor and the tears she shed left a profound impact on viewers and guests alike. One guest of the show later reflected on the experience, describing how Oprah's vulnerability resonated deeply. The guest remarked that witnessing Oprah's admission and her visible emotional response was striking, revealing a side of the media mogul that many had not seen before. Oprah's willingness to share her struggles publicly was both brave and relatable, demonstrating that even someone of her stature had faced significant personal challenges. In a 2005 interview with Today, Oprah elaborated further on her experiences with addiction. She explained that her struggle was less about the substance itself and more about her emotional dependency on the relationship she was involved in. Oprah described herself as being more addicted to the boyfriend than to cocaine, emphasizing that the emotional turmoil and attachment played a more significant role in her struggles than the drug use itself. Oprah's decision to make this admission on television was a profound moment in her career. At that time, she was at the height of her influence and success, making her vulnerability and discussing her past drug use all the more impactful. The risk of exposing such personal information was considerable, but Oprah's openness about her struggles served as a powerful testament to her authenticity and her commitment to helping others. By sharing her story, she aimed to provide hope and encouragement to those facing similar battles, demonstrating that recovery and healing are possible even for those who have achieved great success. This is probably a secret that Oprah Winfrey never wanted you to know. In 2003, Oprah Winfrey faced a profoundly tragic loss with the death of her half-sister, Patricia Lloyd. Lloyd, who was only 43 years old at the time of her passing, was found dead in her home in a suburban area of Milwaukee. The circumstances surrounding her death were shrouded in uncertainty initially, as the medical examiner could not determine a definitive cause of death. However, reports later suggested that drugs might have played a role, casting a somber shadow over an already troubled family dynamic. Patricia Lloyd's death marked the end of a complex and strained relationship between her and Oprah. The relationship between the half-sisters was fraught with difficulty, partly due to past betrayals that had tainted their interactions. One significant betrayal involved Patricia attempting to sell details about Oprah's private life to tabloids. In 1990, Patricia went to a national magazine and shared personal and sensitive information about Oprah, including what Oprah referred to as her hidden shame. This betrayal was a significant breach of trust and had lasting effects on their relationship. The New York Post reported that Patricia left the magazine's offices with $19,000, a sum she received for disclosing Oprah's private matters. The pain of this betrayal was compounded by the loss of Oprah's half-brother Jeffrey, who had passed away from AIDS in 1989. Jeffrey's death was another profound loss for Oprah, adding to the series of personal tragedies that she had endured. The death of her brother and sister underscored the fragility of life and the complexities of family relationships. In addition, one particularly striking thing in Oprah Winfrey's personal life involved her father, Vernon Winfrey, and his decision to write a tell-all book about her, according to Stedman. This situation reveals the complexities of Oprah's relationships with her family and highlights the pain that can arise when personal boundaries are crossed. In 2007, the New York Daily News reported that Vernon Winfrey, Oprah's estranged father, was planning to publish a tell-all book about his daughter. The announcement came as a shock to Oprah, who expressed her disappointment and dismay upon learning the news. According to Oprah, she was initially incredulous about the report. When an assistant informed her of the Daily News inquiry, Oprah's immediate reaction was one of disbelief. She thought it was impossible and assured her staff that the story couldn't be true. The reality of the situation hit Oprah hard when she reached out to her father for clarification. In a candid reflection, Oprah recounted how she was taken aback when Vernon confirmed that he was indeed working on a book about her. His response, "I meant to tell you I've been working on it," compounded Oprah's feelings of betrayal. She described her reaction as being upset and stunned, though she stopped short of calling it devastating. Oprah's reaction to her father's decision to write a tell-all book illustrates the strain in their relationship. Vernon Winfrey had long been a figure in Oprah's life with a complex role. Their relationship had been marked by periods of estrangement and reconciliation, and Vernon's decision to write a book about Oprah seemed to reopen old wounds. What do you think about Stedman Graham's revelations about Oprah Winfrey? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this, and see you in the next videos. Goodbye. Videos.